are you? My name is Brian McIntyre. I'd like to welcome you to this short little lesson I'm doing here. What I'm going to talk about today, I want to talk about something like that's very sort of vital, I find, for guitar players when they're starting out. It's getting comfortable with the notes on the 6th string and on the 5th string. I like to use an expression when it comes to the guitar that the guitar is very shape oriented. Whether you're dealing with bar chords, power chords, or scales, they're all going to be sort of like different kind of shapes that you can move around the neck, and it's a huge advantage we have as guitar players. The only thing you need to know, and the thing you need to be comfortable with, is where the notes are on the 6th string and the 5th string. And I like to, I'm going to start with the 6th string. We all know if I play the open 6th string, that's my E. And then as I go fret by fret, the notes are going to move up in what are called semitones, meaning that I'll go from E to an F at the 1st fret. If I move up another fret, I get an F sharp. If I move up another fret, I get a G. And like our musical alphabet, it's got 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And between two of those pairs of letters, between B and C and E and F, there's no sharp or no flat. If you think of sharps and flats are kind of like the black keys on a piano or on a keyboard. And if you look at any piano or keyboard, you'll see there's white keys without a black key in between them. Those will be either E and F or B and C. All right, all the other notes will have sharps in between them. Or the opposite, they can also have what are called flats. For example, if I play a G on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, if I lower it by a fret, I get what's called G flat, which is the exact same thing as F sharp. All right? There's a fancy term in music for that. It's what's called an enharmonic. But for now, if you just remember that between F and G, G and A and B, C and D, and D and E, there's sharps or flats in between them. And E and F and B and C have no sharp or flat in between them. All right? Now, when you sort of, you can look at, you can find like a list of the names of all these notes, or actually we're going to print something on the screen for you, the names of all the notes on the 6th string. It's a little bit of a daunting kind of a thing, when you look at it and you think, all right, well, I've got 13 different notes here that I've got to get together. How can I go across? How can I do this in the easiest possible way? And I found rather than getting people to memorize all of the notes, what I've done is I picked out 3 different reference points along the 6th string. I picked out F, which is the 1st fret on your 6th string. I picked out A, which is up at the 5th fret on that string. And I picked out C, which is at the 8th fret on the 6th string. All right, and sort of the idea behind getting to know these 3 different notes is that you've got 3 different reference points that are spread out along the string. Rather than having 3 notes one next to the other, any note that you're looking for along the 6th string, you'll know at least one note that's relatively close to it. You can pretty quickly find the note you're looking for. All right, so again, like the notes I picked out were F at the 1st fret, A at the 5th, and C up at the 8th. So like as an example, if I was to say, all right, let's find a C sharp on the 6th string, you know where C is, up at the 8th fret, so C sharp's going to be a fret above at the 9th fret. Now I think of, when I'm moving this way along the guitar neck, I think of it as moving up for 2 different reasons, because I'm moving up in fret number as well as moving up in pitch. So if I'm going from C to C sharp, I think of that as moving up a fret. All right, now if I was to pick some other notes, if I was to pick G, for example, if you know F is at the 1st fret, then you've got F sharp, you've got G right there. All right, and At the same time, if I was to say, okay, what about A flat? If you know that A is at the 5th fret, A flat is a fret behind at the 4th fret. All right, now, what you want to do as well is a simple way to sort of really start to get around really quickly along this string is some people will suggest to you, all right, just start from the open E and play then F, F sharp, G. You can do that, but I found that a much better way to approach this is using something called the cycle of fifths, which we're going to include on the screen as well for you. And the cycle of fifths is going to be a simple way to sort of go through all 12 notes in my octave, but jumping like sometimes up to 7 frets to go from one note to the next. So, and you can start this from anywhere. What I did on the sheet is I started it from C. So if I pick out a C, it's going to be the 8th fret on the 6th string. Now, the next note I'm going to play on there is G. I'll let you think about it for a second. And if you're sitting at the 3rd fret on the 6th string, well, you got your G. And if I continue along, now I'm going to want D. Well, if you think, you know, your F, A, and C, D is going to be 2 frets above C, all right, at the 10th fret. And if I sort of continue on through this, then I'm going to have A at the 5th fret. That's one of the 3 notes we've learned. I'm going to have E as well now. E, I can play it in one of 2 spots. I can play it as an open string, or I can play it at the 12th fret. Both of those notes are E. They're what's called an octave apart. All right, but either one of those you can use for this exercise. And now if I continue on from there, I've got B at the 7th, F sharp at the 2nd, C sharp at the 9th, and then instead of going to G sharp, I went to A flat, which is going to be at the 4th fret, E flat at the 11th, B flat at the 6th, F at the 1st, and C at the 8th. So I'm back where I started. All right, and that's a pattern that when you've gotten comfortable with your 3 reference points, that's a great pattern to take these notes through. All right, and what you're going to find is if you do that, you know, when you're sitting down to practice, you spend like a couple of minutes doing that. You know, you do that on, say, like every second time you pick up the guitar, for example, then you're going to start to find that you're going to go beyond just knowing those 3 reference points, and it's going to be, you'll know like really quickly where a whole lot of the other notes are. All right? And a lot of things you're going to pick up on the guitar as time goes on, whether it's bar chords, power chords, scales. A lot of this stuff is all going to be based off of finding your notes on the 6th string, and then what you're going to do is take that shape and move it to whatever point you want to start it from, okay? And also another string that's going to come in really handy for that is the 5th string. And I've jotted out as well the names of the notes for the 5th string. And what I'm going to do for that, what I did for that is, you'll notice I put asterisks next to 3 different reference points there. I picked B, which is the 2nd fret on the 5th string. I picked D, which is the 5th fret, and F, which is the 8th. All right? And once you've gotten comfortable with your notes on the 6th string, what you want to do is take the notes on the 5th string and try to take them through the same routine if possible. All right? You know, find your starting point. Say if you want to start again from C, you know, you can start to work through the cycle of fifths, doing C, G at the 10th, D at the 5th, A at the 12th, E at the 7th, B at the 2nd, and so on. You know, like the exact same kind of a pattern. And you know, but one of the things that you want to watch is I always give people advice when it comes to this. Don't try to learn the notes on both strings right away. Sort of take it a string at a time. You know, so get comfortable with the sixth string and then apply the same thing to the fifth string, and you'll start to find that you're going to get really comfortable with the notes on both strings. And sort of like the final thing that you can do with this, which will really sort of really tell you that you've gotten comfortable with the notes on these two strings, is to go through the cycle of fifths that I gave you, but play the same note on each string. So for example, if I was going to start like from C, I would play my C, say starting on the sixth string at the 8th fret and at the 3rd fret, you know, and then I would go to G, 3rd fret on the 6th string, or 10th fret on the 5th string, and so on through there. Like, I mean, that's a whole other thing that you can do with these notes. And as you continue on kind of your journey and learning about the guitar, you're going to find that if you're really comfortable with those notes on those two sets of strings, when you get into a lot of these movable shapes, which are a huge part of guitar playing, you're going to have a huge advantage, because you won't be stopping thinking, okay, hang on, I know there's an F sharp on here somewhere, where is it? All right, so I hope that helps, and if you've got any questions, anything you're not sure of, by all means, leave me a note on the video, and I'll get back to you with an answer as soon as I can. Again, my name's Brian McIntyre, and thanks a lot for watching.